y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is Tina and I am so happy you're here. In today's video, I will be doing a Pinterest inspired DIY. This is the picture of what I'm going to be recreating. The first thing I did was head out to the woodpile to see what all I could find. I'm going to be using a shutter that you've probably seen in a lot of my DIYs, but today I am going to give it a fresh coat of white paint. I'm not going to fuss over this being a perfect paint job, so I'm just going to put one coat on and be done with it. I'm going to set this aside to dry once I have it fully painted and get started on my boards. I needed 3 other wood pieces for this project, and I happen to have the perfect stash for them. This is an old fence board, and I'm just going to cut off the edges, round them up a little bit to make them resemble my pumpkin that I will be needing for this DIY. The next piece I'm going to be needing is for a crow. And I thought that this resembled the back end or the tail end of the crow. So I figured this would be a perfect piece for me to use. I would only need to cut out the head. And last but not least, I will need a piece of board for the sign. Today's wonderful Pinterest DIY challenge is being hosted by the lovely Sonia over at Domestic Diva DIY. This super talented sweet lady has so many wonderful DIYs on her channel. She is super awesome. She has so many wonderful farmhouse DIYs and tutorials. She does cooking. She is multi-talented. Be sure to check out her channel. Now that I have all my wood pieces picked out, I'm going to proceed to cutting the shapes and the sizes that I need. The first one I'm working on is the pumpkin, and all I'm doing is just merely rounding off these edges to give it a more pumpkin-y look. Now, I've said this once, if I've said it 1,000 times, I am not an artist. I cannot draw. So I did my best on making this crow's face, or head rather, and cut this out, but I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. My daddy always taught me, as long as you were doing your best, then that is your best. So I gave it a shot, and I think it turned out really cute. And lastly, I'm going to cut off the edge of this board to make my sign. Now that I have them all cut out and ready to go, I'm going to paint each one of them the color that they're supposed to be. Now, this project seemed fairly easy for me. I had cut out all my boards, had everything perfectly aligned up the way I wanted it to do. So then I got to the part where I'm painting the sign. And the simple word was harvest. Of course, you know, this is a beautiful fall word. And I go ahead and I start painting, and I'm just going to let you watch the rest of this, because I am totally shocked that this turned out after I botched it up so horribly, but it ended up being okay. I don't know if you've caught what I've done yet, but I actually left a letter out. I was so embarrassed when I did this, but I thought, I'm just going to leave this because this is reality. Sometimes you just miss something, but thank the good Lord above, it worked out where I could still squeeze that letter in. So once all my pieces had dried and I had fixed my major mistake, I proceeded to glue these onto my shutter. Now, I used hot glue as a temporary fix, but if you were going to do this permanently, I would suggest using a good wood glue so that it would adhere and you wouldn't have to worry about these pieces falling off. Now the last thing I'm going to do is add raffia, lights, and some garland, and this is how it turned out. I want to thank Sonia over at Domestic DIY again so much for hosting this wonderful Pinterest-inspired DIY challenge. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe. God bless.